Is that the better? I don't know. We can pull it together. Plus, we're gonna have to.
Yeah. Audio. Oh. Ready? All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, everybody should have their copy of the minutes. The minutes there.
Got mine.
On the back side of it. I got a separate sheet. Oh, back over. Had it hold there, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for 9/22 or 25 or September 22nd.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Yes, sir. Okay, Chris, thank you. Motion and second. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay, passed. Finance reports.
I'll make a motion to approve the August finance reports.
I'll second that. Okay, it's a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. Chief?
Just a second.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll.
None of us have to leave. Okay, real quick for the eye roll. We're still at 100% compliance. 41 reports turned in, 41 of the systems checked are up and running. As far as the runs, I passed you guys out the sheets. Cedar Creek had 48, Leo-Cedarville had 28, Springfield had 35, Grayville had 17, Scipio had 4, mutual aid runs were 52. Additionally, and I crossed off one number, Northwest made 32 runs into our territory, covering for us.
When you say 32, the last time you said, is that when you're both, or 34 for us, and it's when we're going to their area?
Now, this column here is us, and us going to their territory would be in the mutual aid part,
Okay,
down there.
very good.
But those were runs that they made into our territory, on this side of Tonkel Road.
Mutual aid's with us, or solely, or whatever?
Either
whatever they say.
because we were out of service, or we needed their help. Yep. Like one of those would be that fire we had last, 3 weeks ago, I think. And it was actually, with the bridge out, their crews were first in, a couple minutes ahead of ours. And that, between everybody there, that was a very, very good save on that. That could have been much worse. Yeah, I mean, think about it, just a few years ago, before Base 190 opened, there would have been 2, maybe 3 guys from Grayville going around the bridge, and 2 guys from Base 170 getting there. And that would have been all that would have been there for a lot longer time.
Yeah.
And they had 7, 10 people there within just a matter of a few minutes between us and them.
That reflects real well on the service we have to do.
Yep. I don't know if I really got anything else to do in the report until we get to the new business and the old business. So I guess that's the end of my report,
Okay. Under the,
because there's a lot in the new business.
there's a ton in the new business. For the old business, the status of the budget process, I haven't heard anything, there haven't been any changes yet, have there?
The council approved all the district budgets as is. So what we presented to them in September, they approved in October.
That's, okay, that's the last time.
And
I
it's
heard
what we
too.
presented to
Yeah.
you guys.
Okay.
Yep.
All
And as far as the battalion chief hiring, we've filled 2 of the 3 slots. Those guys have been working, not every day, but most, because there's 3 shifts. Most of that 3rd shift, those guys are covering by filling in, working overtime.
Okay.
So most of the time, we have been running with 3 BCs. They've been taking a lot of stuff off my plate. I'm still falling behind every day, but I'm falling behind less than I was before. I'm glad Yuli smiled at that. No, seriously, they're helping with training. They're definitely helping with runs. They're definitely helping with runs nights and weekends when there's no command staff around. It's making a difference.
That was meant for the good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but to fill that last slot, we had a second posting. We had 3 potential applicants. One of them pulled his name early. One of them pulled their name on Monday, and one of them pulled their name on Tuesday when we were supposed to test for them on Tuesday. For personal reasons for all 3 of them. 2 of them lived farther away, and they decided they didn't want to move.
Okay.
We put out the 2nd or 3rd posting. We modified it a little bit. We dropped it down from 5 years experience as an officer to 3. We've got 6 applicants now, and on, what is today, Monday? On Thursday, they're gonna have their written test and their skills test.
And we still got no subs.
As of the last time I checked my emails, we had all 6.
Okay, good, good.
As for the firefighter hiring, we started with 12. 2 pulled their name before we started. 2 did not pass the skills testing, and the 8 that we've got, are all coming in for interviews Wednesday, for their first round of interviews.
Sorry.
8. They are all currently firefighter, certified someplace, or not, in Indiana, and volunteers or active, part-time, one place or another. Yeah. So. Kobe did really good.
Good.
Anything else about that?
Okay. I don't have any questions on it. Anybody else have any questions for Jeff on the hiring?
Are we gonna just stick with the 6 that we're looking at there, or if all 8 pass and all 8 are good candidates, are we gonna try and do all 8?
Yes. We're budgeted for 1 more battalion chief and 6 firefighters. It's late enough in the year, we will have money. We could put those other 2 on if they make it. Otherwise, what we had talked about before, if the money was an issue, we could put them on January 1st.
Because we've got that part.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, as long as they all pass.
Even still, we could just make them a contingent offer and they could start January 2nd.
If they are passed, if they meet the pension requirements and everything else, we can bring them on.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just letting you know that if we would have done it the other way, if we would have been tight, still would have wanted, because we would kept them on that list. And I kind of explained that in the letter I sent to you guys.
Yes. Okay. Good. Hope to get 8 more firefighters and another VC here shortly.
Mhm.
Good deal. Okay. New business, battalion chief vehicle.
All right, and reference the email that I sent you guys. The vehicle we've got, it came in as a quote at $47,685. Just because nothing has gone smooth lately, I'm gonna ask you guys to approve up to $50,000 for the purchase of that vehicle. I've got the quote right here from them, but I just wanted to have that cushion. So if you would approve up to 47,000,
No,
up to 50,000, up to 50,000.
And they're holding this vehicle for us?
Yes, they are. Yeah, as soon as,
We'll be able to take possession as soon as we...
yep, there's 1 or 2 things they might have to do. It was brought up, what was that called, that start-stop thing? There's an auto,
They shut off
Permanently disable that.
yeah, we're gonna have them disable that so that at a fire scene, it doesn't shut down. And 1 or 2 other minor things, but yes, they are holding it for us. In addition to that, it's gonna need radios, a cap, a slide-out tray, equipment.
we get the upgraded suspension for the back of it, like they did over.
Yep, all of those things, the battalion chiefs have been gathering prices on. I'm gonna ask for 40,000 to that. That's gonna more than cover that amount. I don't know if you want that in 2 separate ones or one together. That's up to you guys. I'm just telling you what the numbers are.
We
90.
just in case, 95,000.
What's your?
I'm asking for 90. If you wanna give us a bigger cushion,
My
that's fine.
biggest thing is I know how this goes, and it always ends up where this is what we were quoted and this is what we end up paying. And you know as well as I do that nothing ever goes right when it comes to purchasing these things. So
Yeah,
I mean, obviously try and keep it to the lower half of it.
yeah.
I wanna make sure that you don't have to come back to us and ask for more, you know, and I don't think 5,000 is gonna break the bank on this for, so I would say we go for 95,000. That gives you some room, am I wrong?
No, I agree. If it's comfortable enough,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
So I'll make a motion that we approve, up to $95,000 for the BC vehicle and equipment.
Okay, there's a motion,
Second that.
okay, and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. Get that vehicle rolling.
Okay, the next thing was the architect for the Springfield Station addition and remodeling. I forwarded that to you guys. You all saw a copy of it. I can also tell you I went to the Springfield Township trustee meeting, talked to them about this. They were pleased to hear it. John Markey asked afterwards about a meeting room, if we'd included a meeting room. We had not. That was not part of our plans and needs. It's their building. They asked about adding it on. I told him that they would need to talk to you guys, but once we get started with the architect, that would be definitely a thing to consider, because that's the right time to do it if we're gonna be making those. And that could be used as a training room for us also.
Did John offer or suggest that they may kick in and help pay for part of that, or?
He didn't have any authority to do that.
But
Bill was aware that we were talking about it, without seeing this and knowing any numbers, he didn't say
Sure.
anything.
yeah, because nobody knows any numbers yet.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, we're gonna benefit from,
Yeah.
so is Springfield Township.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not asking for them to, I'm not even gonna throw out a number, but I'm not asking for them to break the bank and let's do this. It's just, it's not our building, and we're putting a lot of money into it that would, I mean, we see a return because we see what's, the benefits for the firefighters, for everybody involved, but Springfield's gonna see just as big of a return for the utilization of that. So I'd like to see if we could, at least work out an agreement with that, hey, we'll pay this amount, you pay this amount, and let's get it going. And I know that it's always a headache when you have entities and you're trying to do something, so hopefully we can work well together and we can get it figured out.
Right, and then I think Jeff's right too, this is, if we're gonna do it, this is the time to do it, not later.
Are we talking like community room or like a place for them to have board meetings and a place for us?
So are they wanting like a Ryan Hall, what would be Ryan Hall over at Huntertown, or are they wanting something different than that?
I can tell you we did not have that in-depth of a discussion. What we talked about is the fact that they held their meeting in an area smaller than this right here, not over there, just where the desk is at. And there were 13 people. 11 of them could squeeze in. One of us was out on one side and one of us was out the door on the other side. So that's why they brought it up.
Jeff, did you like whatever the architect, like how they went about things, agree, did they give you a vision of what they saw or ideas?
Well, and Brian was there too, she talked a lot about things that were possible. We have to give her the input as to what we need, but we talked about, the biggest thing is it has to be done keeping the station in service. So, if it's one locker room at a time, if it's, build the new kitchen first and then the old kitchen goes out, if we move the kitchen, it's just all that stuff was talked about. Then, yes, we need living quarters, we need sleeping quarters, we need locker rooms, gear lockers. We talked about some of the requirements in general, not specifics. And Brian, did you get a good impression from her, or?
The biggest thing is another bathroom or shower room and bedroom at this point. And however we decide to do it, we start deciding what to do with the kitchen or leave it there. And I suggested, Jeff, the other day, that's going straight out to the south. If we came behind the building, kind of like behind the kitchen, and like I was talking to him out there, if we add on that side of it, maybe that could be a big roof or something, I don't know. Because it could have a bathroom or something.
I mean, I've only been in the station in the bays, I haven't been in to see the living quarters and stuff. If you've seen those living quarters, you know that that's a necessity, that's something you have to fix. So, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, Brian, if you got a good feeling about it, I trust you, you know, if you think the architect's worth it, and what we need, let's go with it.
And she sounded like she had visions. She said that what we were talking about is possible. We just gotta get down and get more specifics.
Sure. And then you said she had a few things to check on with the
Yep.
sprinkler system.
Mhm. Yeah, and that was in here, that,
Especially if it's public.
and that could change too. I was just basing this off of what they did with base 60 when they did their remodel. There was a criteria that if they kept it below that criteria, they didn't. But that wasn't including a meeting room.
Yeah.
There already was a meeting room at that station, or public area.
Jeff, what's the name of the company?
TK Ladd, and the quote was for 12,500.
And I forget, was this, that would cover the expense of designing it and all that stuff, and be honest, if there was extras as far as engineering fees and stuff again, right?
Yeah, she talked about that.
Is that normal?
If we make changes, there could be an extra charge. It's kind of that.
Well, I think
The more you do during the process, the more it's gonna cost.
I
Yeah.
kind of took it as those, she was talking about engineering fees, to find out, you know, this could be done in this stretch or whatever, which I thought would be under her, I kind of took it as being extra, could be extra in the
So it's not
design.
architectural drawings, this is all the upfront permits, what you can do, what you can't do, and kind of general idea.
Yeah, that's
Right, that's what this is.
that's why I sent this to you. It's in her scope right here. This is the stuff that she will do. This is it. And then there was the stuff, like some of the stuff you mentioned, what's not included in it. And those would be as we move on down the line.
And we really decide what we want.
So if we decide, it could be quite a bit more expensive
Mhm.
in the finish. I kind of read that, and I kind of took a little wrong.
If we go from just doing what we were talking about with, you know, add on and do new bunker, and new kitchen, and new living space for the crews, and now we're talking about a meeting room, it's gonna, price tag's gonna go up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and I think it's gonna be a little bit. So it's a matter of, cause, you know, you go to a meeting room, you're gonna want the right electrical outlets, you're gonna want all that good stuff, you know, for projector, for whatever else there is out there. So that's where, you know, we're gonna have to be somewhat fiscally responsible and do the right thing, but try not to break the bank too much.
Right, and that's
So,
where
but ultimately,
working with
I
Springfield,
think we
hopefully.
need to get an architect on board. I'm perfectly fine with it, I mean, 12,000. A lot of money, but it's, if we wanna keep adding, we wanna expand, we're gonna have to. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much, if I looked it up, it's pretty much standard going rate, so.
And we're gonna have to have it no matter what.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, I don't, she's been out a long time, I don't think she's not lying.
I'll make a motion to approve the, contract with TK Ladd for the architectural process.
Second that.
Roll call. Okay, it's been motioned and seconded for, the initial contract with TK Ladd for 12,500. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay.
In that case, I'll give you this, Randy, because that's gonna need a
Right.
signature on it.
I guess with that spending, then we definitely do have a question. What's the status of the money that we're supposed to be receiving from all the entities, those sent back from Cedar Creek? Have we received that, or?
We haven't We haven't got any. They are all keeping it for
So
now.
we need to use it, and then we have to ask them for it, so we're gonna have to go to every entity to ask them for it.
I suppose, I mean, if it goes into our budget right now, that could, if it goes into our budget and we don't spend it on either apparatus or rigs, that could go against us next budget time. But if we get these plans moving along and can earmark a cost, then when we go to, council and that money comes back, they shouldn't look, from what they've told me, they shouldn't look on that poorly.
Okay.
We give it back the long way, which
Yeah.
would reduce the money that the
Yep.
department has. So we gotta
Yeah.
make sure we get it the right way at the right time.
Yeah, and that's,
Which we have to, I wanna make sure.
it's not hurting you guys to hold it, correct?
No.
Yeah,
Cause I mean, that's the money we're gonna basically be using for this, renovation, correct? That's what the plan is.
could be. It depends on how much and how much is given over for this. We do have money allocated for, some things for, in our cumulative fund. It's just, we gotta prioritize where we spend it, once we find out what the amount is.
This renovation is needed.
Yeah.
No question about it, so.
Get
I
that
just wasn't,
station.
I wasn't sure about what was going on with that money, I hadn't heard anything for about 2 months.
Additionally, like the town can't even spend it, we didn't have it appropriated to spend this year, it is in next year's budget.
You know, there's something coming, but no.
Did we wanna talk about that now or not?
Sure. The, Brian just asked
Yeah.
if we'd, heard anything about, doing repairs to the, Grable station, and haven't heard anything yet, other than Bill Harris has contacted me, and he's got a letter coming to us, it might even already be in the mail, but, that is coming to us to, I guess, give their direction or their decision on the roof repair and the, fire escape repair for, Grable station.
Well, I mean, that goes along with, I know I've talked to the chief quite a bit about the Grable station, and how much we wanna do with that, and spend money on when, I don't even know if they can make enough room for adding the number of firefighters we're looking to add. So that's something we're gonna have to discuss here sooner than later, about whether we renovate or whether we look at other possibilities.
We're not gonna be able to fit them in when we're at full staffing.
Yeah. Well,
And,
that's, unfortunately, I don't think there's any quick fix
no,
for transportation. Plus, you're dealing with multiple entities. So anytime we do anything, we're gonna have to get approval from all the entities to do it, which has obviously been shown to be difficult. I'm not knocking any entity. You've got a lot of different moving parts, and I get that. But honestly, I don't want to spend money on something that, we're just putting a Band-Aid over when we need something else, right? And that's just the way that I see it, and I think, we need to look at different avenues. And it's not a knock on the town of Grable, it's not a knock on anybody else. It's just, we're expanding. I think with the addition of the BCs, with the addition of the firefighters, we are growing. We are doing a lot of very, very positive things. And I think we need to look to the next step instead of sticking with something that is not going to work size-wise. We can't expand that station anymore. It's pretty much landlocked.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're gonna have to we would have to sacrifice a bay for trucks, or we would have to do something along those lines. And I just don't think that that's the right thing to do right now. I think we need to look at different options. So I get that they're sending a letter about the roof and the fire escape, and those absolutely need to be fixed, there's no doubt about that. And we're gonna be in that station for a while, we're gonna have to do. But we need to start looking at different avenues. That's my opinion.
Share that with you.
I don't think, we will be outgrowing that station very quickly. And unfortunately, there's no quick fix for it. But we're gonna have to try and find at least a reasonable fix. for that situation. So I know Chief and I have talked about it. I know Randy, you and I have talked about it as well. You know, there's options. We just need to start exploring those options. And we need to, honestly, we need to do it soon.
Can't disagree with you, and I think with what we've been doing so far, getting Springfield Station rolling and getting this, the next immediate need is gonna be, like you said, we're gonna have to look for what our options are for Grable.
On that lines, chief, in your spare time, could you check with the company that gave you the bid on the roof there, see what they're gonna do and how late they could do it, if little much or not? It just scares me a little better, how they think it is.
Yeah, I'll have to, yeah.
Hopefully we'll get something back yet, next couple days from, Bill Harris, and we can tie that into it, hopefully. Get the roof roll on here. Before we get into snow.
Well, the good thing is there's no leak right now.
Right.
But it's not that it's not when it might happen, it's when it will happen. It's getting that direction. Reference consolidation. And maybe this was probably the one thing I should have brought up in the chief's report. Randy was there today for the meeting, the chiefs and chairs meeting, but county council and county commissioners held a joint meeting Friday along with Purdue, talking about the plan for countywide consolidation. There's a link on, I think it's Wayne TV's website. It's also on the Allen County government website that will take you to that report if you want to look at it in depth. It's a long read. It was a long time putting it together.
I think it was pretty positive. I think it was pretty positive towards what we need, it's consolidation. So to me, it brings up good.
It addresses the needs.
Yes, it absolutely does. So.
And that's something that a lot of people haven't considered is we are the biggest county in Indiana. Outside of Fort Wayne, if this becomes a consolidated department, we will be area-wise the largest department in the state, coverage area-wise. So.
I was impressed, or surprised, maybe you might call it, a week or two ago, I was looking and we had about 8 runs in one day, just for us, I don't know what they're about. And just the other day, Sunday, did you have like 6 or 7? I kind of went up this morning, it's Friday, I guess I know it's for having you up
Which-
there, they do, it's proven what we have here, it's needed, because there's no way volunteers could have kept up any of it. That really,
It would have been a lot to ask.
yes.
One thing that I did notice about that report that they got from Purdue was that Purdue folks, not as a bag against them, they talked a lot about staffing. One of the things that stood out to me right away was that they didn't go any further than that. Maybe that was the scope of what they wanted to do, or maybe that was all the further they thought they needed to go. But one of the things that I noticed right away as a fellow chief officer was that that's a minimum amount of staffing. That's not, hey, this is what we need every day, because that's assuming, if I read that correctly, that's assuming that everybody comes to work, nobody takes a vacation, nobody takes a day off, their dog never gets sick, or whatever the case may be. You gotta have those extras in there to cover vacations and annual physicals. And unless you're planning on paying overtime out the wazoo.
I think the meeting that I sat in on, when we first started this process, they were asking what's the minimum to make this consolidation work. So I'm guessing that would be
That's that
the
answer.
minimum,
Yeah.
and that's what they wanted. I'm 99% sure when I was sitting in on that meeting. Cause
And
they
that
were
makes
there and talking about it, and that was brought up, you know. And it sounded like they wanted, what would it take to do the minimum? Now, obviously, everybody here wants better than the minimum. But they wanted them to figure out what was the minimum they would need. So obviously, there's gonna be a need for more, floaters or whatever else that come along.
And it looked like they followed the NFPA model and the NFPA algorithm for that. Yeah.
I know that the researchers definitely learned quite a bit about fire service, fire and EMS service.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite an education experience for Purdue.
It just said eye-opening several times.
Yes.
Well, if everything goes as planned, the council will approve funding for an executive fire and EMS chief. And that person will be the between council and commissioners and the 4 districts in the territory. And
We will still remain an individualized entity, but we will have one overseeing, trying to work with all of those entities to become once. Because I wasn't sure how that was gonna work, and then I got to go to a meeting and listen. That's exactly how it is. There's gonna be the entities, and then there's one overseeing. He's not getting to make any decisions for the entities, but he's gonna make recommendations. He's gonna try and get everybody on the same page.
He
Consolidation.
or she is the go-between between our current structure today and commissioners and the council.
and leading us to the consolidated,
Whoever
because
takes this job is gonna have.
functionally, operationally, we already operate well between all the other districts in the territory. We have to, because we don't have the manpower and staffing and equipment and everything right now. And legally, there are timelines for establishing or dissolving districts and territories in the funding. Best case scenario, we'll operate as we're operating now. We will still work together with everybody, but there will be 4 separate districts in 1 territory until all the legal framework is in place and the budget is in place, and then it'll become completely accounting. Okay, partially because of consolidation, partially because of the loss of volunteers, we've got more apparatus than we need. I sent you guys a detailed listing of the stuff that we've got. We've got 2 rescues that one of them I don't think has made a run since I got here, and the other's only made a handful. The rescues typically were bought to bring manpower and equipment to the scene. Without those volunteers, we don't have that. And the one station I've got that is the closest to having a volunteer response for other than tankers, we've got an engine and we will have a grass rig when it's fixed there. So that's 8 to 10 seats that can get out the door. We don't have that many volunteers at that station. So the first thing I'm gonna ask is for you guys to give approval to sell the 2 rescue units. I wanna put an asterisk on that. I just found out today that there's a district directly north of us in DeKalb County that might be interested in one of the rescues. We know what prices the company that we have contacted to put these on the market nationwide has told us we can get out of it. But I also know that if we can help a nearby district, we might want to consider taking a little bit less from them.
Now, are they ones that would normally help us out?
This is
Like
Jackson
mutual aid?
Township. It's directly across the North County line from Cedar Creek Township.
Yes, they potentially.
Right now, they're not on our list because they had, Yeah, they don't actually,
officially start making runs in January.
they don't start until January. They had disbanded. And we have Auburn on our automatic aid because Auburn is full-time and they'll be out the door right away. But the potential is there that they could help us out.
We could deal directly with them.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to go through the,
Brokers.
yeah, it's called Garage Incorporated.
Which will, should save us some money there. What are they?
They charge 10%.
10%.
And they told us that we can get 39 to 40,000 out of each of those two. You figure if it's 40, we're down to 36,000 right there.
Automatic,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's their estimate.
That's
not
their
guaranteed.
estimate. There's no guarantee. That's their estimate.
For incentive.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to approve letting Jeff, or the chief, place the 2 rescues that we have for sale. Good enough.
Yeah, well, I guess I should have stopped. Do you want me to, there's gonna be 3 of them I'm gonna ask for. Do you want me to roll them all into one? Or do you wanna do the rescues and the pumper separately?
Might as well, if they're all going through the same broker.
Same broker.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay. The other vehicle is Squad 146. That's the mini pumper that we used when the ladder truck was first out. That saved us wear and tear on the ladder truck by making med runs and car accidents and stuff like that, instead of sending, you know, a very expensive truck on that. With us moving into base 190 and them supplying an engine, we moved the engine that was gonna go to 190 to 140. And we don't need that mini pumper anymore. Yes, yep. Yep.
Remember they had that 150 or something, didn't
They had that valued at, did I not put that in here?
Almost 200 if we let it sit for a couple months.
Oh, yeah, I didn't read down far enough, yeah.
Yeah, you gave us if we just try to sell it right away, or if we waited.
If we sell it now, they estimate 160 to 185,000. If we wait and let other buyers emerge, it could go for as high as 200,000. They said they're highly in demand in Kentucky, Tennessee, the Carolinas, places like that.
Okay.
And yeah, by using that engine instead of this, we're carrying twice as much water. Twice as much water than the ladder truck also. And we use the water on every fire. We don't use the ladder on every fire.
Okay, so we got 2 rescues.
2 rescues and the squad.
And then
Squad 146. It's Rescue 148, Rescue 178, and Squad 146.
Brandon moved to allow chief to sell the extra apparatus, which includes 1 mini pumper, 2 rescue units, and 1 squad, 146.
Couldn't have said it better.
Well, no, you got 4 vehicles there.
The mini.
The mini pumper is the squad. If we sell it twice, they might frown on it.
we? We counted your check.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor and seconded to sell the 3 vehicles, or to let the broker sell the 3 vehicles. What's the name of the broker again, Jim?
Garage Incorporated.
Garage Incorporated.
Do we want to put a caveat in there, Jackson Township, a first?
Yes, we did talk about that. You guys decide how you want to word that, but
Do you want to put a caveat in there?
You know, we just put that we were gonna sell them, we didn't really add in that it was through garage brokers, that's up to Jeff on how he wants to go about that.
Yeah.
I agree with
Yes,
that.
sell, just, we'll sell, that we give him the authority to sell.
Jeff, just let us know and we can, this, if we have to do a next meeting or whatever, we will. Or if we have another session between now and then, because we can add that to part of that. So,
Okay.
but if they want it, definitely get a number and we can talk about it. But just sell it, whether it be with Garage Inc. or if Jackson wants it, just start working on it.
Direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion is to, give Jeff the authority to sell the 3 excess pieces of equipment, and there's a second. Is there any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay.
Okay, just so I mentioned it, there are 3 other trucks that we could possibly sell to that the apparatus committee has determined we might not need. I explained in there why we're keeping those for right now, so I guess we don't need to bring those up. I had additional hiring costs. Hiring up to somewhere between 6 and 9 people at one time, we're gonna have costs for gear. I'm gonna ask that you guys allocate $5,500 per firefighter. So that way, depending on whether we hire 6, 7, 8, however many, but $5,500 per new hire for turnout gear, helmets, boots, gloves, hoods, SCBA mask, all the above.
Is that the gear or is that gonna include like, Northwest gives out like Northeast shirts and British shirts or stuff like that?
That's in their clothing allowance.
That's not.
Yeah, this is just PPE. Mhm.
One set?
One set. One set. Yeah, there's guys that would love us to get to 2 sets, but
Spoiled that one.
let's get everybody one first.
So is 55 per, employee, a new hire? Is
I
that
rounded
safe
up.
enough?
I rounded up,
Okay,
yeah,
It's about what I spent this year when I did my new gear.
okay.
for the Anthos goods. Cool.
I buy 2 sets of gear every year.
Okay. There is, it was number 7 on the item there. There was 2 pieces of equipment we had on our want list. One is a 4-gas meter. The county hazmat fund through the LEPC was going to purchase those for the department, for the county. They decided not to allocate that money. And so I'll be asking $6,000 for the purchase of a 4-gas meter. I've got 2 of them that I'm looking at, and Fort Wayne's hazmat team leader has been giving me some ups and downs of both of them. One of them is what everybody's got. The other one is what everybody might be going to. So I'm trying to get a feel from him what Fort Wayne's gonna do. One of the expenses with these is the testing station. You gotta have a station to cradle it in and feed it testing gas to keep it calibrated. And if we can get the same thing that everybody else has got, instead of every district having a totally different set and going through all those expenses twice. But both of them are under that $6,000.
We need to go back to
Oh, sorry, you're right.
For the 5,500,
No,
no, but otherwise we haven't approved it.
I'll move that we approve, to purchase $5,500 for each new hire for move 2017.
Okay, is there a second? Chris, will have you second? All right. Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the new gear for the new employees? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that one's done. Now, to the meter.
Okay.
Sorry,
And no, that's what, that needed to be done, and let me say, cause one or two of you asked me this, everything I'm asking for, we can cover with our budget money. We planned on hiring these people, that money was there, I just need authorization, cause it's over 5,000. And I'm not gonna buy it one set at a time, I'll be
Yeah.
ordering a lump. These other things, it goes back to the consolidation at 190. The fact that they're using their engine, that freed up our engine, I was gonna buy enough extra hose and equipment that if we had a hazmat run that ruined everything on a truck, that we could swap equipment out, hose-wise and that. They also supplied the extrication equipment for that, that's saving us. We did buy one set, but we were gonna buy two. Everything that's here is supported in our budget, and we got lucky that the way things worked out, that we can switch midstream from what we planned to what we're going for now. Because the meter wasn't planned, I expected that to be covered. Did you vote on the meter yet?
No,
No.
The meter 6,000,
is that just,
it's a package.
so you
Oh,
know-
I'm sorry, no, the meter is one meter, and then all the associated stuff with it. The charging and the calibration, yep. I got it narrowed down to two. No, but both of them are under that.
So on Q6,000
Mhm. Yep,
a gas meter, is that what you want?
yep. 4-gas meter. And that's, the 4 gases are oxygen, flammable vapors, CO, and hydrogen sulfide. And the hydrogen sulfide is needed for any confined space. For us, that's probably gonna be a grain bin or a pit. Flammable liquids, the oxygen and the CO are kinda self-explanatory.
I'll make the motion to approve, the chief to spend up to $6,000 on a 4-gas meter. Second.
Okay, there's a motion, is there a second?
Yeah.
Okay, Chris? Motion and seconded, any further discussion on the gas meter? Those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
The second thing on that list is thermal imaging cameras. A year ago, the volunteers said they were gonna buy us a couple to outfit our rigs. There's been a couple issues with a federal tax ID number. They haven't been able to do it. I just talked to their acting president today, just to make sure that they weren't at the very last minute gonna buy it. We waited over a year for this. It wasn't in our budget, but we can support it because of the other stuff that happened. This is a package. It's got chargers, extra battery, stuff like that. That's gonna be, I'm gonna ask for 7,500 on that.
Is that just for one?
It's one main, full size that the crews would take interior. There's two, that essentially this big. One's gonna go in the BC car, one's gonna go in my car. These are just for quick, 360s and, size ups, yep.
Well, you guys have been helping us on those thermal.
Yeah, yeah.
I see the definite benefit of it.
And they come in handy for more than just fires, if it's nighttime and you're on an MVA, and you need to make a quick search of the area just to see if maybe you missed a victim that got ejected out of
Do
the
we
vehicle.
have any, or will these be our first?
No, this will outfit all of our frontline apparatus. So each engine will have a newer one.
So we have
We've got,
nothing or?
no, we've already got a couple.
Okay.
This will just give us extra.
Yeah.
Well, it'll right size you.
There you go. Yes, it'll fill out the complement that we need.
I'll make a motion to approve, thermal imaging for up to $7,500.
Okay, there's a Motion, okay. Brian seconded. Any more discussion on the thermal imaging package? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay.
All right, last thing on the asks, that have a cost to them is the HSA contribution. Our insurance changed this year. We went to a high deductible plan. In trying to be consistent with the other districts, which is what we've been mandated to do. The chiefs, I think we dropped the ball somewhat, that we did not have meetings on exactly the details of our insurance, and everybody's insurance is slightly different, but we're really close. There's a good hope that by next year, not 26, actually late 26 or early 27, we'll have a countywide insurance that we can all buy into as a group. We're gonna be over the 150 employees and get a break. But until then, with this high deductible, other departments are giving a contribution, and we had not planned on that. But, and I gave you guys the information on what the other districts were doing, how much they were offering, and the most common number was 2,500. So I'll be asking you guys to give us a contribution to the HSAs, and you can set the amount.
Now, this also is attainable this year?
This is
It's
attainable.
all covered
The,
within the
the,
budget.
the reason this is attainable is our cycle. We are October to October,
Not January.
not January to January, and the fact that we didn't hire earlier, that money is there. There is no mandate to give any contribution. You can change it each year, you can go up, you can go down. The only rules are, if you give a contribution, how you give it. So if you're worried about whether we go up or down next year, that can all be addressed. But this will cover everybody at least through
October of next year?
at least through October of next year, and depending on how the budget is, we might wait until January 1. There'll be a 3-month gap before we give the next one. Because this one here would actually sort of be for the 26 year, but we'll be paying it in 25.
If I remember right, I'm thinking back to the breakdown you sent us, 2,500 was pretty much the average, almost everybody.
It's the most common number. There's some lower. Three districts. I think the one was Southwest, and they were looking at 1,500 to 25, and their board president told us they were going with 25. So did Northwest and West, or so did West Central. Yeah. We do have it in our budget. Mhm. Yeah, the plan that they lost, most of them really liked, but because of, well, we had a couple of very heavy hits to it, and yeah, our premiums went through the roof, so we went to the plan that everybody else was using.
I'll make a motion to approve 2,500 to the HSA.
Motion for 2,500 for the HSA contribution, is there a second? Motion and second?
I'll just do one thing, I know, this isn't the same as a business. I don't know, tax line, you have to give it a particular way to make it deductible to the company. So we might want to check our tax advisor.
Shannon.
See exactly how it's done.
Shannon and I spent an hour and a half with the insurance agent, and he was schooling us on everything you were talking about there. And yeah, he says as long as you guys approve an amount and he knows what it is, he'll walk us through everything we need to do to get that done.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor, it's been seconded for the 2,500 contribution to the HSA. Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Okay, and then the last thing I've got is, and you guys can take one and pass it around. Randy, again, was at the meeting today. One of the things talked about was merit. We will be shooting for on or near January 1 of 26, implementing the merit that we talked about implementing last year. This is just an interim. They just suggested that we have something in place. This is not word for word what the other one's going to be, because when you see the merit, when it comes out, there will be a clause or a section at the top of it that's specific to all of the districts, and the fact that for the next year or so, we're gonna be operating as districts, not as a district. And it gives autonomy to each one. So this is, I guess this is part of that autonomy, that this will get us through from today until when the merit goes in. Once the merit goes in, we'll be following the merit.
Because right now, we don't really have a set
I
process.
don't think you guys have approved one.
Right.
And you asked me to put one together, and that's essentially what it is. It's just in writing there. Everybody else in the county, Fort Wayne excluded, has agreed to hire 18 and up, not 21 and up. That's probably the biggest thing. The other big thing is that everybody now is in the Access 77 pension. So all new firefighters have to pass the pension physical. I think the terminology is they have to be accepted by the pension. So that's passing the physical and psychological, the acrophobia, claustrophobia, passing the local and the state pension boards. But that's all spelled out in state law. Yes, please.
Yeah.
And that's, I think at the very bottom it says, this is in effect until the merit board is established.
Looks like we can accept as presented it.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Chris seconded? Okay, it's been motioned, seconded. Any further discussion on it?
Is that a standardized thing, or would we contract it?
You through with the merit board? You wanna vote first with the answer?
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead and vote.
Okay, all right. There's been a motion on the floor and seconded for, to establish our Northeast Fire District hiring process. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay, now your question.
Yep, in the merit, it says that we will go through a testing company. Right now, East Central put one together. It's been used at least 2 departments besides East Central, so it's consistent throughout the county.
I was just curious.
Yeah, no, but it does specifically say that it'll go through a testing company.
Okay, did you run out of things?
I ran out of things.
Well, here, let me write some stuff down real quick.
Well, I certainly appreciate all the work you've done, Jeff. It's, you had a big full plate this time, that's for sure.
Well, the hiring,
Oh,
the
yeah.
apparatus, the merit,
Stations.
stations, and then the 2 things that we thought other people were buying for us. It all just kind of fell at the same time.
Okay, now we'll hope for, good news in the letter on, Grable Station. We'll see where that brings us. Okay, place here. All right. At this point, looks like our, next meeting will be November 24th. Does that look like that'll work for everybody? Okay. Public input. Any, comments from the public? Okay, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?